So, Illuvium is finally different to TFT. After the recent updates, the Ranger has joined the battle board in the Illuvium Gauntlet. And although it can feel pretty overwhelming at times, especially if you haven't played Gauntlet before, the new challenge is actually quite exhilarating. And really, it's a true test of skill. Like, battling against opponents and them outplaying you because they understand the weapon system better is quite interesting. And as you learn it and improve and start figuring out the meta, that's actually a really exciting part of the game. So there's a lot that happened this week. We're going to go over all of it. You are not going to miss a thing for the download Illuvium news. And don't forget that your referral code might have actually expired. So please double check and re-put it in there if you want to show your support for me as a creator, more specifically an Illuvium focused creator. So let's jump into it. The first news article should be this one. Late last week, there was an Illuvium Arena hotfix. So basically, the alternate balancing patch came out. It's been named Patch B. Also, good morning, Kevin. And they said they rolled out the alternate balancing patch. Just like it feels like that was maybe I shouldn't have been going this far back. I don't know why my thing went this far back. I'm definitely on the right date. So the next thing I should probably go over because we covered that recently. But the next thing is Wave 3 of Illuvium Beyond is almost here. And with that, we have a mini blog post. So this doesn't have all of your classic Illuvium Beyond details. That's going to come out soon from Rich and Perry. But we have this really neat blog where I think Roger wrote it. Roger went over the history of the early stages of Illuvium Beyond, where they want to see it go in the future, why it came to be, how they're developing the album, what they want the album to look like as Illuvium Beyond evolves and progresses. And it's a really great read if you haven't already. Some of the other blogs have been really fun to read as well. So these sorts of things that the team are writing on their own, they're just putting their thoughts onto the page is so much fun. And we also have this awesome leak from the Illuvium Beyond album, which got a massive facelift. It looks so much better. It's really telling a big story now. And things are so much nicer here. So I absolutely love it. You can also see all the different rewards you can claim. There's the battle board skin for getting, I believe it's all of the tier zeros or something like that. The deal with it, Axodon, I'm a little bit bummed about that because I actually own that in regular cosmetic item form, but I guess this one probably wouldn't be sellable, so it's a little bit different. Then you also have an Apon and a really great cling here. It's some really awesome stuff here. Doka's Dojo, part of the preparing the systems for more features that are coming down the line. I absolutely love to see all this stuff. You can also see how the different drones are kind of worked into all of this and things like that as well. And a little Rampy emote kind of thing right there. Very, very cute. So really great to see all of that come to life, honestly. The next thing we got this week was the October 2024 burn report. So if we click into that and have a really quick look, all right, that's just going to take me just a second. Okay, if we have a really quick look at the burn report, we can see that core contributors expenses, about $1 million this month, which is not too bad. Software and licensing, about $170K. Moderator expenses and operational, about $50K there. Outsourcing studios. So not too bad. Pretty good breakdown. Marketing was $35K. So October revenue was $0 because RevDiz didn't actually get distributed this month yet. October net burn was 1.3 mil, which is not too bad, but it's worth noting that expenses is estimated to be $1.1 million now. From now on. So that's a really big change. That's going to save a lot of time, a lot of burn. And there's currently 10.31 months in runway based on all of these metrics and things like that. So very, very cool. The 4-month average is quite high, but this month was really low. So we're definitely trending down in the amount of money the DAO is actually spending to develop the game and all the rest of it. We've also got all these other wallets, safety pool and everything else as well. Very, very sweet. How's it going, Surfer Dude? Okay, the next thing we got is the big testnet update that happened this week. And there were so many improvements here that I am actually going to go through a few of them because I think it's important that we talk about them briefly. So firstly, we have all the Gauntlet improvements. The Ranger weapons and suits got introduced. Augment selection timer got increased. I think that's been quite noticeable. Reduced the NPC round by 20 seconds. This was way overkill. It's like 3 seconds now, and it's really weird. I kind of like it in a certain sense, but it feels really unusual, okay? XP gain now visible. I didn't see that. New Gauntlet missions, which is great. Chat channel. I tried this out a little bit. It's the UI is not really implemented in the best way, but I'm actually really excited for this when this is a bit better fixed. It'll be really fun. Ability for them to disable augments, weapons, and suits. That's really, really awesome. I'm glad they've done this. Tutorial temporarily disabled. VFX now displays in the shops. This is a huge change. Makes the game so much easier to play. Drone skins, great. Increased drone sight and mode size. Ascendant mode now hidden by default. I think this is fine. They've done a good job with it. It's pretty obvious the Gauntlets to play. It's still not as obvious as I would have liked it. But I might speak to Kieran about that in the next IMC meeting. Arena quality of life updates. Remember me, this is such a big win. Thank God for that. Hard reset for ratings in Ascendant and Gauntlet. I didn't know that actually went live, but that's really cool to see. Unified queue names and ordering across all game nodes. Love to see that. And so they're excited to hear our feedback. The problem is that this testnet build is weirdly buggy, okay? Like, there's a lot of restrictions and a lot of the desyncs and laggy sort of stuff. Like when you hit refresh, it doesn't refresh straight away. All that sort of stuff is still persistent. The game's just not going to feel, dare I say, fun until that's rectified. But we will be patient. Okay, the other thing is November, the Illuvium Beyond Wave 3 trailer was released. We're not going to go over that right now because we will go over it at the end of the video. So you'll have to stick around for that. But it's very, very awesome. And I do want to talk about it in some sort of detail. So that's why we're going to wait on that one. And now let's get to everything else that happened this week. Okay, first up, we've got from Johnny. It says some really interesting stuff here where he says the spending is pretty straightforward and transparent. Staff costs make up the majority. There's a huge amount of valuable IP that has been made. Unfortunately, the problem is that it can't really realize the value of what's being created until it's complete, in a certain sense. Doesn't matter how good the story, the characters and things are, if it's not in like a super playable or polished or finished state. And that's really what Johnny's getting at here. And I completely agree. But we really have to finish one thing at a time, which is what the Illuvium team is going on to now. Getting Gauntlet done so it's fun, playable, full gameplay loop, rank leaderboards, everything is very, very important. We can't really realize the entire vision at all in any capacity until that's done. So that's what we're working on right now. Well, that's what the team's working on, sorry. Okay, next up we've got Aaron saying that they're moving the inventory to the side, changing the shop so you only see 5 things at a time, giving some more credits and a few quality of life improvements, and it will start to be pretty cool. Until then, I want you to screenshot your best cooking session. So this won't all necessarily happen. Obviously, it's all still in discussion, but it's worth noting that they're taking all the feedback on board. They know the UI is kind of like hastily put together just so they can get it into our hands. And there's a lot of work to do with fixing it up and getting the quality of life right. I think that's the right way to go. Simplify it as much as you can and then make the economy really fast so that you can just refresh a ton of times and stuff like that. That sort of system will probably be more fun, more engaging, and just make the game better. Also, I want the game to speed up slightly. Like, I don't want it to be Marvel Snap or like Uno, or Uno's a pretty long game, actually. I don't want it to be just like the game Snap or whatever it is, right? But it does need to be faster. If it's, say, 30, 35 minutes now, I think it needs to go down to 20, 25. 20 preferably would be a really good point for this game. But that's just me. Good morning, Wafu Wafy. How's it going? I haven't seen you in chat before. Love to have you here. Okay, next up, we've got Aaron here saying that one of the upgrades to the cards, both alluvials and weapon suits, is a better interface to show all the details on hover. This is a really big thing we need. Plus, when you hover a synergy in the synergy panel, you'll see the weapons and alluvials that give that synergy as a list, so you can know what to look for. Also, a team planner where you can select units, and then when you find them in the shop, they will be marked. This would be a really huge upgrade as well. So there are so many small and big improvements, quality of life improvements that are going to be coming to Illuvium Gauntlet. And once they're in, the game will be so much more digestible. I think the bigger thing is removing all of the crazy bugs and stuff like that that are still kind of persistent throughout the game and just kind of dampen that overall how do I put it? Dampen that kind of enjoyment and that gameplay. It's like if you're playing and you crash out or you desync, you might play another game, but you're probably just going to be like, maybe I'll play next week, or maybe I just won't play again. You know, this sort of stuff is very, very important, and I hope we get to a state where we've rectified a lot of that really soon. Okay, so the next thing we've got here is from Aaron. For right now, the most important thing is for you to play a bit with the Ranger and let us know if you're thinking along the same lines with the UX changes needed. It's pretty raw, so it will not feel great. So they acknowledge it, which is really good to like. It's not good that they don't acknowledge like that they build it this way necessarily or anything, but it's good to know that they are aware of it and it's not just like, oh, we released this and we thought it was going to be great. Like obviously they know, which is good to hear. The main idea is, do you enjoy the ability to customize the Ranger and add some special sauce to your build? Really try to have fun with it and see if you can break the game. For me personally, let me know down in the chat or comments or whatever if you agree or disagree. For me personally, I'm loving the way the weapon influences the game, especially with the Ranger on the board, especially with synergies. Like, it's really hard to get that 6 proc synergy because level 6 is kind of like one of those points where you kind of sack your economy or you go for it. Level 7 and 8 feel the same, but the Ranger just adds that one extra character on the board that makes a really big difference. That being said, I love the weapons and stuff. The suits feel stupid. I hate them. I want it to be a different system. Maybe if they fix up the UX a ton, it'll look better, but Alluvials is one decision point. Weapons is a second one. I just don't need the third decision point. It's not helping. It's just making my life harder, and I don't know if I'm ever going to grasp it. I probably will eventually, but I don't know if I'll find it a fun mechanic. So if you agree with me, let me know. Wafu says, been out of the loop for some time. Any news about Alvatar purchase using fuels? I don't believe it will be using fuel for Wave 3. Hopefully for Wave 4, but we don't know yet. But 99% chance it will not use fuels for Wave 3. It'll be used SRV2 or Ethereum. Okay. The next thing we've got is for the blog post that tends to come out every wave. Rich says that they have the new one ready-ish. Just a couple details to finish out, and yes, it will come out ahead of launch. I think he's just checking some things with Perry now, so it will come out very, very soon. So we actually have a doc here that Kieran posted for Gauntlet Ranger bugs. And you can actually see all of the bugs that have been documented to date for the Gauntlet Ranger. The first one is you can't buy the unit while in battle is activated, even when you are not upgrading, just adding a second unit. This is really annoying, but we're not going to get into that. Obviously, that's not intended. The armor is so small in the UI because the suits are so similar looking, you can't tell. You can't tell even when they're big. I don't care what anyone says. When your bench is full, it allows you to buy units, but then gives an error, cannot buy benches full. That shit is so annoying. When you upgrade a unit to stage 2, the UI shows you losing an affinity class until the round starts. Oh yeah, I'm surprised this hasn't been fixed yet. You should be able to place augments in battle. I love how you can do it in TFT. Problem is with the way they've built their systems, I don't know if that's possible. That being said, that might be one of the big things they're changing as they're moving to dedicated multiplayer servers. So that could actually come out. Current UI is way too confusing and overwhelming, even for someone who's played 100 plus matches. The only way we can add the Ranger is if pre-built with armor and weapon, and it sits in the shop as a 6th tile. Yeah, I would really like that, generally speaking, but they will figure it out. I'm excited to see what they come up with, to be honest. So the next thing is that Kieran has said that they're building a lot of those features that will give Overworld an identity. Things like not giving Alluvials a chance to roll different abilities, being able to have interchangeable spaces, having booster packs opposed to catching Alluvials is really not that engaging. Like, Kieran is focused on getting the overworld to be more engaging, but have the pack opener be the alluvial collection mechanic. Maybe the overworld will stay in its current form in some way. I don't know, but there's a lot of discussions going on around, should the overworld be shut down temporarily while we do that? I don't think we're going to do that. But the bigger question happens is when the overworld is upgraded and it's full free to play because you can't capture alluvials in it or whatever, is the pack opener enough to suffice that entire part of the game? But we don't know yet. So packs would be purchased with fuel. Good to see that. Kieran says that all the new features are going to completely transform the overworld. Seeing people running around Sanctum Mesa and being able to talk to them is one thing he's super excited about. It seems like a small thing, and it's not going to redefine the game loop and make the game 100 million times more fun or anything like that. That being said, it will... Like, if you're like me and you're like, I don't really want to jump into the overworld because it's going to take me 20 minutes. I don't want to go out and capture all those alluvials. But if I was like, I can jump in and see who's running around and then have a chat with them, show off my alluvials, and then maybe battle them in Gauntlet from the overworld, that would be an extra thing that gets me over the fence there to jump in and play overworld when right now I'm not necessarily doing so much. And Kieran said, combat is awesome and questing. I don't think combat will be fun, I'm sure. Questing will be pretty good. I'm not a big questing guy in any game, so I don't know how I'll feel about it personally. Yo Crypto, quick chat. But Kieran says it will be a completely different game. It absolutely will be. Okay. So the next thing is Philo is talking. I believe he's talking about the booster pack thing, where he's saying don't ignore all of the data, saying that receive negative feedback. It's only natural. We set ourselves up for that. A stage 3 travel right now is about 50 cents, but then shards is probably over $3 to $5, depending on the number of tier 5 alluvials on the map and then the capturing luck. Kieran says an example, let's say a normal player goes into the overworld for 2 hours a day. That's 5 runs at current pricing, about $75 per month. Someone would rather buy a monthly overworld pass for $99, get less runs, but not feel like they're being charged every step of the way. So really, when it comes to this entire conversation, the big thing that I don't think people are really listening to Kieran about is the data is telling us that the monetization model specifically is just not working, and we need to change that. And it's really hard to change that without changing other things drastically. I think the booster pack is kind of one part of that, where you can't just stop them from paying for every travel, because then the entire thing kind of falls apart. But you can't charge them for every travel because then no one wants to play it. And so what do you do? And so this is what really the conversation should be about and should be the focus. Oh, I'm losing my voice a bit, guys. All right, just closing some of this stuff to make my life a bit easier. Okay. So Kieran says that on that note, paying for every action is absolutely a problem. Go look at the videos and comments all over social media that were written. I'm well aware that there are some games that have this monetization model and it works, but they are few and far between. Our largest player base was when fuel was approximately 50% below the rail. And lastly, once we set the price, it's very hard to go back up and much easier to go down. We have the ability to test things now before doing a big marketing push after adding all the new features. He's suggesting 50% of the top rail, which I think would be like $2 or $3 for a stage 3 run, or a stage 3 pack, as it might be. But we could tweak it down if we required. I agree with that to an extent. I think we should probably start at about 40%. But I mean, they're all just kind of numbers floating around in the wind. They don't really mean anything until you have data backing it up. But one thing for sure is having fuel at 50 cents hasn't meant overworld players are rushing back, which I think everyone seems to forget. And yes, there can be a number of factors, but to say it not at the current monetization model doesn't seem quite right. So the other thing is Kieran's had a lot of discussion on this. So this is a really important topic that we do need to cover. So he says after a couple of days of discussion, he's starting to think it would be best to keep the overworld open and introduce the auto drone runs or pack opening, whatever we want to call it. He does fear it's going to skew the data a bit. He's a little bit worried that people will see that overworld is available and so they might not buy packs. That wouldn't really affect me. I'm going to buy packs anyway. It's just like that dopamine hit is so good. But if a pack opening is much more popular than playing the overworld, it will give a good idea of how to move forward in terms of the free-to-play model of overworld, which is really important. The next thing we got is a gold links leak. Okay, this is really cool. This might be one of 25 Alvatar's they're going to be given to top competitors in Illuvium Beyond Wave 3. I'm not sure. But this might be a new kind of Alvatar that's going to come out in the future. It's really hard to say. Roger says this is just a test on one of the Wave 3 Alvatars. This one won't actually be gold. We have a few golden versions in the personal stretch goals. Very, very cool. You could be winning gold Alvatars in the personal stretch goals. That is the alpha right there. Oh my God, it's crazy. Okay. The next thing is Roger says the next blog is about optimization first and what we are doing to make the game run better and prep for mobile. After that, he'll try to write up a longer Beyond blog and what we will want to build and go into a bit more detail on that. I'm very excited for this optimization blog. I might just be a super duper crazy nerd, but that's the sort of read that I would really love. I might even make a video about it. I would love it so much, but I'm looking forward to that. They are, as far as I have asked Kieran and stuff, they're making pretty good headway on optimization. Last I heard, they're about 50% done. When I say 50%, I mean 50% done in optimizing the models. I think mostly the character models. There's a lot less to do if you just port in Gauntlet, for example. But the character models are being optimized, about 50% of them. After that's complete, it could take God knows how long to get it onto mobile. The only estimate I've heard is 6 months, but really, who knows? I would have expected shorter, but depends how many people are working on it, really. So the next thing is Neil thanks everyone for putting in feedback. So Neil, for anyone who doesn't know, he's been absolutely in the trenches when it comes to feedback on the Illuvium arena like you've never seen. But basically, he said community feedback is key. The Ranger feature has a lot of potential due to uniqueness, gameplay mechanics, and capacity to add new features. It should be easy to learn, hard to master, and not oversaturate anyone with UI and decision-making. The decision-making is the biggest problem with it right now, but they're monitoring it and they are going to fix it. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing is the next upcoming patch will adjust weapon and suit's power level to better fit the Gauntlet economy curve. So that is why they feel kind of broken right now. He also says most likely we will have to tweak stuff as it's unlikely to nail it out of the gate. So please be very vocal with Ranger feedback and its balance in the upcoming days once a new patch hits the light. Good morning, Heike. How's it going? My voice is dying. Okay. The other thing is Neil has said that Sepolia right now has patch B. There will soon be a new patch that combines the best features of patch A and B, as well as some new mechanics. From there, they will start iterating quite quickly. We also won't have to wait long for all that was from ages ago. Never mind. I don't know what I had here. All right. I think Phobos' comment's really interesting here, though, where he says, he or she, I'm going to assume he, don't know. Okay. After almost a month of not playing Overworld, I tried it again today. He's a slow player if he doesn't scan, trying to search everything. Losing so much time and leaving the stage with full energy is just bad. He would prefer throwing $100 and give him 10 packs to open instantly. Playing Overworld right now makes me feel bad for all the time I lost if I don't find anything good. I never really thought about it that way. The big reason I don't play it is because it just takes too much time and I don't have that time to spare. But this is a really interesting way to look about it. Like, time is more valuable than money for the most part, and that's worth keeping in mind. And I think time is the biggest issue with Overworld, not money. But that's just me. I had 2 of that post for some reason. Okay. Oh, I think that's the section. All right. Now I know what I'm doing. All right. So this was essentially a giant discussion about whether or not we should shift. Crap, I lost the thing. We should shift the Overworld to, I think I can go to the top. No. Shifting the Overworld to a pack opening model. Let's quickly see if we can get to the top and look at the upvotes and downvotes. I hate that it does this. Okay. It's got 29 upvotes and 33 downvotes. I think a lot of people, it's a really healthy discussion in here if you guys want to check it out. A lot of people, I think, are in favor of pack opening, but they have some really specific things that they would like to see happen with it and things like that. But a lot of people are pretty much in favor, which was quite surprising to me and even to some other people in the community. But some people really enjoy it, and some people really love the Overworld as well. Unfortunately, the data doesn't really support the Overworld kind of working in its current form. But I definitely think it's worth keeping it open for now while we sort all this stuff out. Okay, so the other one here, no, that's the same one we just did. Okay, so a few shills here and community content and things of the like. The first thing we have here is the 64 player in Illuvium 32 invited players, 32 open signed up. I have no idea if registrations are still live. I think the link will be down here. There we go. If anyone wants to register, I will chuck the link in the chat, but I have no idea if it's full or not. It's probably full. Let me have 39 out of 64. There is a wait list. So I think it's all the open invite people have registered. I'm actually going to open registration for the next Inferno, which is happening next weekend. I'm going to open up registration tomorrow. So make sure to go and check it out. Okay. I'll make a tweet and everything. So follow my Twitter. You'll be all good. The next thing we've got is on Immutable. Best RPG game nomination actually went to Illuvium. And we can actually go vote for it right now. I'm pretty sure voting ends in 13 hours. Oh, I don't really want to log in on stream. I'm going to do this straight after the stream ends, I promise. Go and vote for Illuvium. Let's see it get Best RPG Award. It was really funny when I first saw that it was nominated for that, right? Now, I went and I was like, is Illuvium one of the only RPGs in Web3? Like, I know there are a lot of shooters, but there are a lot of shooters, card games, party-ish games, very arcadey games, a lot of mobile games. There are no RPGs besides maybe Raven Quest. It's something like Space Nation, maybe. There's basically, it's all multiplayer games to some aspect. There's not really an RPG multiplayer game besides some of the MMO sort of thing. I guess Big Time might count. But like, there really aren't as many as I thought there would have been at this point in the cycle. So that just kind of like threw me for a loop a bit, which was quite funny. And here is the Illuvium Beyond Wave 3.
Welcome, collectors, to the third wave of Illuvium Beyond. Millions of unique combinations waiting to be unpacked. Get ready to discover 75 brand new Illuvatars. Bond your accessories and raise your Illuvatar's power level. Complete collections and unlock countless rewards. Emotes, skins, drone blasts, and battle boards. Flex your style while you beat the competition. Collect points and climb the leaderboards. Wave 3, launching November 21st. Get ready.
That last bit with the meteor is so good. This sort of stuff is what Illuvium is all about. We have the IP. We just need to double down on it. And I think once we start doing big marketing pushes, those sorts of videos are really going to pop off and really set Illuvium apart from all the composition in Web3 gaming. And it's going to be huge. We're going to have a good time. Okay, so the next community content I have is actually from Web3 Gaming TV. And he did a breakdown of the Berserker Colossus, which is something I've been seeing everywhere in the game. I'm glad to see Web3 really back with doing some really cool arena guides and videos on which teams to play and stuff like that. Absolutely awesome. This was before the weapon. Berserker Colossus is mental now with the weapon. Like, it's insane because Gnarl gives you the Verdant and you get the Colossus and the Berserker. It's really insane. Okay. So the next thing is the Escape Pod. You guys need to check this out, okay? This is a new podcast that the Illuvium team is doing every 2 weeks, every fortnight. It's very awesome.
I'm excited about that. Any guesses in the chat?
We have that animation. There was another one here. It's a little bit rough, so I don't really like watching it.
All
it's
that
really
sort
kind
of
of
stuff,
hard
kind
to
of really
understand.
bringing him to life, you know. This one is less done than the next one.
The algorithm is broken.
But like they're all hiding behind a rock of some kind,
I don't know,
and Flood is
34
asleep, and then
leases in a row.
Scarabot goes and sits on him or annoys him or
Probably
something.
an error with the system. But no, I'm not joking. Like, double links me right now. I would like that. Let's do that. Come on.
We can't see what you're doing, so I'm just assuming you're getting links.
They're all getting like a water bath thing. Very, very funny. I'm looking forward to when that one comes out. Hopefully they market it really, really well. But yeah, that's me for today. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Put it in the comments. I'm sure someone else will answer it, or I'll come around to answer it. Been a little bit slack on the comments, but I'm trying to be better. It's been a crazy week. I've been making full-on content for Illuvium Beyond Wave 3. I'm really hyped. I'm really excited for it. If you haven't yet, please use my creator code, Scoriox, Scoriox. Please double check that it's in your account because it will expire after a month, so it might not be there anymore. Please go double check. I really, really appreciate it. And with that, the download is complete. Have a good day, everyone, and I hope you learned something today.